Hey everybody, welcome back to the Warboss Fitch channel, and today we are heading back to the Age of Fantasy to look at the Dark Elves. So normally whenever I go over the units, I put up pictures of the 3D artists that I chose to make the models of. Well, today that's going to be a little bit hard because the models I got my hands on a long while ago, because these have been in the works for a while. The creator, he flew too close to the sun, and most of his Dark Elf stuff has been taken down. But I will link to the rest of the stuff he has on his My Mini Factory down in the description, because all the stuff on there now has been looked over and I guess passed. I'm not sure how they determine that. But for this video, what I found is I found some old GW Dark Elf models. I'm going to use those instead. So everything you guys are going to see is out of production, because Games Workshop does not like to keep models in production until they come back a decade later and you have to pay twice as much. Oh well, I'm getting in the weeds. Let's go ahead and start. So here are the special rules of the Dark Elves. Now there is no overarching special rule for the army. Like, there's not one rule that everyone has. The Dark Elves are very, I want to say, strange, because their army, like most, reflects what a medieval fantasy army would be. I'll explain it more when we get into it, but the Dark Elf army just has all options. You just have to choose which one to build into. So we're not going to go over these rules one at a time. We'll go over them as we run into them in the army list. Let's check out the spells. So here's the spells. Let's check out the buffs, debuffs. We don't care about the offensive spells. They do exactly what they say. Starting off with the first one, Despair. Target 2 enemy units within 18. They get -1 to their next morale test roll. That is a pretty decent power to be able to spam out with one spell point. Anything you could use to break the enemy easier is always a plus. Darkness. Target 2 friendly units within 12. They get +1 to defense rolls next time they take hits. Most of this army is on the squishy side, so this will definitely see use. And World of Pain. Target 2 friendly units within 12. They move +3 next time they advance, or +6 next time they rush and charge. There's a lot of stuff in the army that wants to get into combat immediately. There are a lot of units that I will classify as like a glass cannon, and being able to get them in there before the enemy has a chance to shoot them or maneuver around them is great. So let's move on to the actual units of the army. So here we are in the Army Forge. There are a few ways to build this army. There is the standard line of spearmen backed up by bows. There is the fast glass cannon approach, using witches, getting into the enemy and overwhelming them with your number of attacks. There is what I would call batshit insane fantasy, where you can have an army led by Medusa running as many hydras and snakes as possible. You could run a cavalry-centered force, you could run a stealth and scouting-centered force. The trick with this army is to find a balance that you like with everything. So let's go through the army. Starting off with the Dark Noble, our first hero character. Quality 3, defense 4, fearless, furious, hero, toughness 3. Now fearless, whenever you fail a morale test with this unit, roll a dice. On a 4+, it counts as passed. It's kind of like a morale do-over. Furious, whenever you charge, unmodified rolls of 6 to hit in melee, deal 1 extra hit. You're going to see this a lot in this army, because the stuff that likes to get into combat likes furious. This character starts off with a heavy hand weapon for 3 attacks, AP1. Now this section is the unit rules. These are what you can put on your heroes to augment the squads that you put them with. So starting off, the first one, it doesn't augment the squad, it's just takedown. That's why it's the cheapest. Once per game, when this model attacks in melee, you may pick one model in the unit as its target and make one attack at quality 2 with AP 1 and deadly 3, which is resolved as if it is a unit of 1. So what this is going to be used for is, say you move into combat with an enemy unit and they have a toughness 3 hero. This is going to give you the ability on a 2-up to just go single out that hero. It's not a guaranteed kill because it is only AP 1, but it's only a 10-point option. Next we have Dread Prince for Dark Prowess. This model and its unit get +1 to hit in melee, depending on the unit you put them with. Excellent choice. Fleet Master for Absolute Power. Once per activation, before attacking, pick one enemy unit within 12, which gets a -1 to its next morale test roll. If you have your hero equipped with this rule and you choose to put this on an enemy unit that you and your unit are going to attack, this has the ability to break that unit and make it flee off the board. Army Standard Bearer for Fear of 3. This model counts as having dealt 3 more wounds when it counts to checking who won melee, making it easier to win the fight and cause the enemy to take a morale test in the first place. And Dark Tyrant for Blood Sacrifice. This model and its unit get regeneration. And what regeneration is, after you fail an armor save, you roll, and on a 5+, you ignore that wound. Now here we have a large array of weapons. We got halberds, dual weapons, great weapons, lances, and spears. Depending on where you put them, that's going to usually dictate what you want your character to have. You can upgrade them with a repeater handbow for 3 shots at 9 with rending, or a crossbow 3 shots at 18 with rending. And then you can upgrade it with a mount. A horse for fast and impact, a raptor for fast impact and devour. And devour is whenever you attack, you roll dice, and on a 6, the enemy takes a 1 wound, goes right through their armor save. Black Pegasus for fast flying, some attacks with the hooves, impact 2, and 3 more toughness. Manticore with attacks, defense +1, making him defense 4, fear of 1, flying, and 6 more toughness. A Cauldron Wagon with Blood Fury. Pick 2 friendly units within 12, which get Furious. If they already had Furious, Furious then kicks off on a 5+. Some attacks, extra defense, fear, regeneration, and 6 toughness. Or a Black Dragon, giving you a breath attack, which means once per activation, on a 2+, you hit an enemy within 6 inches with a Blast 3 AP 1 shot. Lots of attacks, extra defense, fear of 2, flying, more attacks, and toughness +12. At 60 points, this is going to be your main combat buffing character. What I really like to use him for is either Dark Prowess, Absolute Power, or Blood Sacrifice. If it is a unit you are going to put in harm's way and you want them to stick around longer, that's when I would go with regeneration. There is the option, because down here we got Manticores, Cauldrons, and Black Dragons to run them around on their own. And in that case, pick whatever weapon you want, and that's when I would put on Fear of 3, just to make sure that they is going to win whatever combat it gets stuck into. The next unit is the Champion. Quality 4, Defense 5, Hero Toughness 3, comes with a hand weapon with 3 attacks. Now here we have Dark Prowess and Absolute Power. We already talked about those. And then we have Caster 2 and Caster 3, and that is how you get access to the spell list. Here we have lighter versions of the weapons. We got dual weapons, lances, halberds, spears, and great weapons. And then we have a horse, raptor, Black Pegasus, and Black Dragon. There's no Cauldron or Manticore on this. This is a lesser character. So same thing I said before. If you want them to buff stuff, Dark Prowess, excellent choice. Absolute Power, good choice as well. But then caster stuff, giving you access to this here. It's always a good idea to have one on the list, unless you want to intentionally not put a caster in the army, because sometimes it seems like no matter how much power you put into something, the spell just doesn't go off. That one's up to you. And then our last hero is the Snake Lady. Quality 3, Defense 4, Hero, Toughness 6, and Strider. Strider means it ignores the effects of difficult terrain. Comes with a Great Glaive for 4 attacks, AP 1, and rending. And here we have Blood Sacrifice, that's the regeneration one, Caster 2, Caster 3, and you can replace the Great Glaive with a regular hand weapon and a Great Seeker Bow for 4 shots, AP 1 with poison. This is the most expensive hero, coming in at 105. If you're going to put it into a unit, Blood Sacrifice is an okay choice for that, but just to give a unit regeneration, you have cheaper options. So what I would probably do with it is go with one of the casters, give her a Great Seeker Bow to sink her into a ranged unit, and that's really about it as far as like fitting in with the regular Dark Elf units. But if you want to make a themed monster list, this is the way to go. start off with a snake lady. That way you know everything is going to get weird. Alright, let's look at the units. First one is the Dark Warriors. You get 10 of them in the squad. Quality 4, defense 5, 1 attack apiece. You can switch it out for halberds or spears with rending or counter. And I haven't talked about it yet, so let me talk about counter. If you have counter on a weapon, that means you strike first. Doesn't matter if you charge or you are the one that gets charged. And it also reduces the enemy impact hits in case cavalry is charging into you. And then we have what I like to call the command upgrades, and I shall refer to them as such from now on. There is the Sergeant, where one model gets +1 to hit. Musician, where the unit gets +1 inch movement. And a Banner, where the unit gets +1 to its morale test rolls. So this is your Bog standard infantry. 85 points, 10 models, quality 4, defense 5. As far as chaff units go, it's cheap enough and it has the quality. It's a pretty darn decent choice, even without any upgrades. You can combine it for a big squad of 20, and then if you do that, that's when I would start thinking about putting a character in there with regeneration, just to make sure they don't run away. Next unit is Witches. Quality 4, defense 5. These have Furious with 2 attacks apiece, and you have the command upgrades. So quality 4, defense 5 with Furious. This is a blender unit. 2 attacks apiece, exploding 6s. Go for a combined unit, and this is the case where I would put in a champion with Dark Prowess just to make sure they hit a little bit better. Quality 3 whenever they attack in combat with exploding 6s. Anything you can do to make your blenders better is always great. Next unit is Corsairs. Quality 4, defense 5, fearless and stealth. Again, dual attack weapons for 2 attacks apiece. You can replace the dual hand weapons for a repeater hand bow, 2 shots with rending at 9, and a hand weapon. And here are your command upgrades. So here we get into a little bit of a tricksy situation. You could use them as a little bit less of a blender. You know, you take 10 of them, there'll be 20 attacks. They don't have Furious, but again, with the +1 to hit, they're going to be hitting on a 3 in combat. Or switch out for the repeater hand bow. This I like with this unit. You got to get real close, but 20 shots with rending at 9 inches away makes for one hell of a harasser unit. And what I mean by that is you can bully the enemy off of their objectives or make them think twice about coming onto your objectives. 20 shots point blank hitting on a floor with rending causes some armies to just stop and have to really think about their life choices. Our next unit are Executioners. Quality 3, defense 4 with Head Taker, meaning they get AP +2 against models that have toughness 3 or higher. They all come with great weapons for 1 attack apiece at AP 2. So with Head Taker, anything with toughness 3, they are going to be AP 4 against. And the only options they have are the command upgrades. Now, something with this unit, they are perfectly fine to march around on their own. But you can take a champion with Dark Prowess, meaning they're all going to hit on a 2. And against armies that have tough units, this is terrifying. But let's say you don't want to push it that much more to get an extra 16% chance to hit. I would say in that case, go with Absolute Power, just to give the enemy -2 to their morale test. Because the Executioners, they are probably going to win combat as long as you don't run them into a blender unit. And with Absolute Power, that means they're going to be able to push through the enemy lines a lot easier. Next unit are the Slaughter Sisters. These are our upgrade for the Witches. Quality 3, defense 5. They have Blade Dance, which means the enemies have -1 to hit in melee. But that's only when all models have this rule. So if you attach a character that does not have Blade Dance, the unit loses it. And they have Strider to ignore difficult terrain. They come with 1 attack apiece at AP1 with rending, and the command upgrade. Now they're already quality 3, so putting a character in there to give them +1 to hit, it wouldn't be worth losing Blade Dance over. And at 1 attack apiece, AP1 with rending, let's look here, versus the Witches. Slaughter Sisters, you do have AP1 and rending. Witches, no AP. Witches, more attacks with Furious. Slaughter Sisters, quality 3, Blade Dance, This one is going to depend on if you know who you're fighting against. If you're going to be fighting against a tougher enemy with higher armor, Blade Dance. If you're fighting against an enemy with a ton of troops, Witches. Next unit is the Winged Sisters, quality 4, defense 5, ambush, and flying. Ambush means that you don't need to deploy them when the game starts. And then at the beginning of turn 2 or 3, you can put them down on the board 9 inches away from the enemy. There's a few more caveats to it, but we don't got to worry about that right now. And then flying means that you ignore all terrain, all units, you ignore everything on the board. You're always going to move as fast as you can or as fast as you want to move. You're not touching the ground, so it doesn't matter. They come with 2 attacks, and you can replace their 2 attacks with 1 attack and a 12-inch one-shot AP1 javelin. Now here we have a excellent harassing distraction unit. This is just going to be my suggestion with them. Take the javelins and keep them in ambush. Then on turn 2, drop it on an enemy flank, and then just start throwing javelins. Throw javelins at them every turn. And then if they're still alive at the end of the game, use them to contest an objective. What that forces the enemy to do is it has to dispatch a squad to go deal with them. Forcing the enemy to turn away from their battle line is going to give you an opening for other stuff to get through the enemy battle line and into their deployment zone and any objectives they might be hiding. Next unit is the Black Guardians, quality 3, defense 4, fearless and furious. They have 1 attack apiece with heavy halberds, AP1, and rending, and their only options are command. Now this is another unit that's going to work primarily on its own. Exploding 6s with furious. Any 6 you roll is going to be rending, AP1. They already hit on a 3, so the best character option I could see putting in here is either -2 to the enemy morale or regeneration. And that one's going to be up to you. Pick your poison, whatever you think you're going to need more. Now this next unit I think is one of the better units that should be in every single Dark Elf army. The Dark Shooters, quality 4, defense 5, 1 attack in close combat, 2 shots at 18 inches with rending from repeater crossbows. And then the only options you have are the command upgrades. So these are a little pricey at $145, but those repeater crossbows are worth it. It is a unit that's going to be fishing for 6s, but the spike damage that can come out of this unit, I've seen it firsthand, and you're probably going to see it in the battle report coming up, and you'll see what I mean. Next units are the Shade Scouts, quality 3, defense 5, scout and stealth. And scout means that you set them aside before deployment. They are deployed last, and you can put them 12 inches into the middle of the board. So they pretty much, their deployment zone is going to be 24 inches from the back of the board. They can set up all the way to the middle. Repeater hand bows, 2 shots at 9 with rending, and 1 attack with hand weapons, and they have the command upgrades. Now scout and stealth, they're going to be able to get in there to fire off their repeater hand bows immediately on turn number 1. So you can use them to push forward on a first activation, combine the units, get yourself 20 shots with rending to go hit a weaker enemy on the front, or you can use these as a picket line. Put them forward to where they're about 13 inches away from the enemy deployment zone. As long as they're not fast, they can't charge you, and then you can just slowly move them backwards and continue firing your repeater hand bow at them. Next we have the Snake Sisters, quality 3, defense 4, strider and toughness 3. They have Bloodglaives for 3 attacks with rending, and you can upgrade them to switch out the Bloodglaives with a Seeker bow, 3 shots apiece with poison. Now for everything else in the army, the Snake Sisters, they kind of set out away from everything else. They are toughness 3, so it's going to be harder to take them down, but in melee they're not that great with only 3 attacks with rending each. And with shooting, they're still not that great with 3 shots of poison. There are units in the army that do things better, but again, if you're running for a theme with Snake Sisters, it's not going to be terrible, but there are better options. Next unit is the Warlock Riders, quality 4, defense 5, fast and impact 1. 1 attack apiece with poison, and you can upgrade 1 model to be a sorcerer with caster 1. As far as combat prowess go, this unit is not that great. Everything is riding on that 1 caster power. That gives you access to the spell list, That allows you to throw some stuff out there, save it up for a turn or two. Like this one here, hit somebody with 8 hits. It could be a chaff clearer. Next unit is Dark Horseman, quality 4, defense 5, fast and impact 1. These have lances for 1 attack. And what lance does, whenever you charge, you get +1 to hit and +1 AP. So when they charge, they're going to be hitting on a 3 at AP 1. And then on top of that, I haven't talked about impact hits yet. Impact hits are whenever you charge into the enemy, as long as you're not fatigued. On a 2-up, the enemy takes a hit. They get the regular armor save, there's no AP to it, but it is a bonus. You replace all the lances with repeater crossbows, and then you have the command upgrades. So if you want a unit that can just throw at the enemy for relatively cheap, 85 points for 5 dudes with lances, that's not a bad bet. Or you can go for the repeater crossbow and be a harassing light cavalry unit, just to run around the flanks and pepper the enemy with fire. Next unit is the Raptor Knights, quality 3, defense 4, with Devour, fast and impact 1, and they come with lances as well. The only options they have are command options. Again, 130 for a cav unit with impact 1 lances with the added Devour on top of that. That's a pretty solid cav unit. And then you can upgrade that with characters to give them regeneration, -2 to enemy morale, or +1 to hit. There really is no bad choice for attaching a hero to your Raptors. And then last of our multi-model units is the Harpies, quality 5, defense 5, flying and scout. 2 attacks apiece with AP 1. The unit has no upgrades. So this unit, 70 points for 5 of them, 2 attacks apiece at AP 1. This is a good shock unit. With scout, you start in the middle of the board. Flying, you ignore terrain. Throw this at the enemy. It's a good cheap way, like if the enemy has a big, expensive unit, throw some Harpies in there, make him fatigued, and then you can follow that up with another unit that is going to do the real damage. But still, 10 attacks from 5 of them, that's not too shabby. Now we come to the monsters. First one up is the Great Medusa, quality 3, defense 3, fear of 1, furious, and toughness 6. Death Stare, 1 shot, AP 2, deadly 3, and 6 attacks in combat, AP 1 with rending. This monster is going to be close to the enemy to either use the Death Stare or the Blood Spear. You probably want to use your activations for the Death Stare and then the Blood Spear whenever somebody wants to fight you back. 180 points, toughness 6, defense 3. It's a pretty decent unit. Next is the Abyssal Beast, quality 4, defense 3, fear of 2, predator, and toughness 12. And the predator rule means whenever you roll 6 to hit, you get to roll an extra attack. 4 attacks with stomp at AP 1, 8 attacks with poison, so you definitely have the number of attacks you need to kick off predator. And then you have the option for a Beastmaster to give it fearless and furious. So this is a big, beefy boy. I would suggest putting a Beastmaster on there. That way, whenever you roll 6, not only do you get extra hits from furious, but you also get to roll extra attacks from predator, throw it at the enemy, see what happens. Next unit is the Hydra, quality 4, defense 3, fear of 2, Hydra heads, regeneration, and toughness 12. The Hydra heads rule is every time that you make a regeneration roll, it gets +1 attack in melee. And here it already starts with 10 attacks at AP 1. It doesn't say which attacks it gets. I'm assuming it's the Vicious Jaw, but they're all AP 1. Just throw an extra dice in there. And then you have the Beastmaster where you can give it fearless and furious, which I definitely suggest. So with Hydra heads, kicking off a regeneration. So theoretically, there is no ceiling to this. But in a 4-turn game, I wouldn't see it going over 3 or 4 extra attacks. But still, that's a fun gimmick. And you're going to see some today. Next unit is the Scourge Chariot, quality 4, defense 3, fast impact 4, toughness 6. 2 attacks with the hoofs, and 2 attacks from a spear crew with lances. You can switch the lance out with a crossbow crew or a harpoon thrower for deadly 3. So I've really come around on chariots in the last couple months. 110 points, toughness 6, impact 4, lances, hooves. Take 1, throw it at the enemy. I wouldn't worry about the repeater crossbow crew because 160 points, 6 shots. You can get more mileage for raw shooting power out of a shooter squad, so I wouldn't worry about that. I would go strictly with the spears, run into the enemy, and dump attacks into them. Then we have the Raptor Chariot, quality 3, defense 3, Devour, fast, impact 4, toughness 6, 2 attacks AP 1, and 2 attacks with lances. You can replace the lance with a repeater crossbow crew again for the 6 shots with rending. 135, you get 1 extra quality and Devour over the Scourge Chariot. Same thing I said for the Scourge Chariot, just you're going to hit a little bit more. Last of the monsters is the Medusa Shrine. Quality 3, defense 3, Aura of Pain. Pick 2 enemy units within 12, and they take a morale test. If it is failed, they take 3 hits. Fear of 2, Furious, and Toughness 9. A Death Stare for 1 attack, AP 2, Deadly 3 at 12 inches. 6 attacks, AP 1 with Rending, and 2 attacks with its crew. The unit has no upgrades. Interesting unit to put on the board. Aura of Pain. If you're fighting somebody with low quality troops, just throwing out 6 extra hits like that, it's always a good thing. Then Death Stare to shoot at stuff. Then Blood Spear and crew attacks to attack whenever something charges into you. 265 feels a bit steep, but as long as that Aura of Pain, you can get that going off consistently, and the enemy failing morale tests consistently, that's a pretty good investment. Then last unit in the army is the Dark Elf Artillery. Quality 4, defense 5, entrenched, immobile, and toughness 3. Entrenched means you get -2 to hit if you are shooting at this model from over 9 inches away, as long as it hasn't moved. And immobile means it can't move. 6 shots at 30 inches at AP 1, and the crew have 3 attacks. You can switch out the repeater bolt thrower for a light bolt thrower. 1 shot AP 3, deadly 6. I don't know how deadly 6 is a light bolt, but here we are. So it's quality 4. Just on that alone, I would want to keep with the repeater bolt thrower for 6 shots, meaning that something is going to hit whenever you fire it. But if you're fighting against big stuff like giants, definitely light bolt thrower. Fighting against somebody with a bunch of monsters, light bolt thrower. 120 points, that's low enough points to kind of be a throwaway unit, just to have, a coin flip every turn to do 6 damage. And that's it. That is every unit in the Dark Elves army for Age of Fantasy. So now what we are going to do, we are going to go out into the garage and have ourselves a 2,000 point game so we can see them in action. I'll talk to you out there.
Welcome back to the garage, everybody. It is currently 12 degrees outside, and I put snow on the model's bases. I just feel chilly. But these are the Dark Elves. For today, we have 3 squads of Dark Warriors, 3 squads of Dark Shooters, a champion with the +1 to hit in melee rule, and 10 executioners with head takers. Plus in the back, we have 2 Hydras with their wonderful Hydra heads rule. I can't wait to see if that works out. It should be interesting. Fighting against them today are the Eternal Wardens. We saw these a couple weeks ago. We've got 2 squads of 3 Wardens. The ones here with the spears are armed with the dual heavy weapons. A Knight with 6 Praetorians with the head taker rule and the ambush rule, which is the Celestial Beacon. 6 Shooters, 2 squads of 3 Hunting Hawks, and 2 Drake Eternals in the back. So here is the board today. Let me zoom out a little bit. We got a couple of patches of forests that are going to be, blocking the line of sight. We got a couple of hills. We got some ancient ruins here in the middle. Let's roll to see how many objectives go on the board. And that is a 1. So we have 3 objectives on the board, and we'll be right back. So here we are, 1, 2, 3 objectives. Uncle C is going to be playing the Dark Elves, and I'm going to be playing the Eternal Wardens. Let's go ahead and see who goes first. Wardens, 5. Elves, 3. Wardens are going to set up and go first. We'll be back after deployment. So here we are with the deployment of the Dark Elves. We got Shooters, Hydra, Shooters, Warriors, Executioners right here in the middle. Get ready to head towards that objective. Warriors, Hydra, Shooter, Warriors. a very even deployment for the army. And on the opposite side, we got the shooters, one of the drakes. We got some hawk owls down there. Wardens, drake, wardens, owls. Since they have the two on this side, they're going to try to be a little bit defensive against all of that. First activation of turn number 1, the Eternal Wardens. We are going to move this squad of, wardens right out there in the middle to claim that objective. We got 10 shooters. They're going to move forward a little bit, and then they're going to pop off. Right, they are going to fire at that squad of wardens right there. So we got 20 shots hitting on a 4. Now these shots are rending, and that's a lot of 6s. All right, let me move some dice around. So there we go. We got 9 hits. 5 of those are rending. Let's go ahead and do the 5 rending. That's going to be 5 wounds, and then the rest of it. They're going to take 3 more. Good Lord! So out of all that, 1, 2, and 1/3 of a warden go down. Morale test, they're going to pass. So that, I kind of underestimated these shooters. I figured I'd lose 1 or 2 wounds, but no! I lose, what was that, 7 wounds. So with that in mind, this squad of shooters, they're just going to move forward like, I don't know, 3-4 inches, just to make sure all of them are in range to fire at that squad of shooters over there on the hill. I think I know what the big problem is going to be. So my squad of shooters, we got 12 shots hitting on a 4 for 5 hits, saving on a 6. So there goes 5. Morale test, they're going to be stunned. Boop. Badoop. Dark Elf move. We're going to go up about 6 to there. And then what you going to do? Oh, he's going to shoot at Les Shooters. 20 shots. Not as bad this time. Or as good, depending on which side you're rooting for. We got 10 hits. 2 of those are rending. Rending on a 6. Failed them both. The rest on a 4. For a total of 7 wounds gone through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and boop, 7. Now, because the shooting threat has been reduced, we're going to go ahead and do the first Drake Eternal. Bringing him forward to there, right in front of that terrain with all this stuff behind it. But, there's terrain in the way. And then the first Hydra over there is going to move to maybe engage. We'll see. Next, we're going to take another squad of Wardens. These are the ones with the dual hand weapons. They are going to double time it, do a full advance move to there. The Executioners. Well, I don't know why. I always put the Dark Elves with a French accent, but if you look at the old world that these guys are based off of, they're like North American. So it would be, I don't know, well, they'd be Canadian. So, here they come, eh? Next unit of Wardens. As I knock everybody over, we're going to go to here. Ta-da. Got the unit of Warriors. They are going to head that way into that gap back there. The second Drake is going to move to there. He's going to move to there. I recorded last night. Was it last night? No, 2 nights ago when I did the priming on the terrain. It was, I swear to God, 9 o'clock. And I start recording. What happens? Train. I'm like, what? Do I summon trains?
You do.
I summon trains with the camera.
You need to have an army that has a steampunk train with it.
He's going to end up there. Unit of Warriors up the middle there. So I'm just down to the Hawks / Owls. This squad over here. They're going to run up the flank. Pew! Hooty hoot. Oh, that unit of warriors right to that objective there. Then next, we're going to have this unit of hawk. Well, these unit of birds, they're just going to hold right there. It's the Hydra, and it is going to right there. Last activation, this squad is going to recover. So turn 1 is complete. The Dark Elves shooting looks like it might be a problem for the Eternal Wardens if it's not shut down rather quickly. But now we got warriors and hydras up in the mix. Let's see what happens on turn number 2. So first activation of the game, I don't know how good this is going to go, but we're going to have to start dealing with these hydras. I know this is the Dark Elf video, but man, let's see what a hydra does. So here we go, 4 attacks apiece, hitting on a 4 with AP 1. We got a whole whopping 5 hits. 7 on a 4. So it fails a 4, but regeneration. Oh, it still fails 4. Okay, so it took those. 10 attacks back, hitting on a 4. 3 hits. Saving on 5. Ooh, they saved 2 of them. Morale test for the Hydra. Fearless. It's good. So the Hydra's down to 8. These guys back up an inch. And down to 2. Second Hydra into the dragon. 10 attacks on the 4 with Furious. 5 hits. Saving on a 4. Ooh, there we go. It takes 1 wound. 3 attacks AP 3. 2 hits. 1 attack with rending. Hits when it rends. So it takes 1 from the rending. And then fails the other 2, but regeneration. Saves 1. It only did 1 wound, it took 2, but with its fear of 2, it counted as doing 3, so the dragon needs to make a morale test on a 3, which it passes. So this guy's going to move back an inch. It has taken 2, which means it is down to 10. And then we're going to use this little green dice here. It's going to be plus 1 attack because it did regenerate 1 of those. And then this guy, he's down to 5. So this is going to be what we call a pro gamer move. This guy's got 2 wounds left. What he's going to do is he's going to charge into these executioners just to make them fatigued. So if they go after anything else, they're not going to hit that great. 2 attacks on a 4. 1 hit. Saving on not that. So it takes 1. And then the executioners decline to fight back, so morale test. And they pass. Move back an inch. Yeah. And then bloop. Take off 1. So much for my pro gamer move. They're moving into that squad of Wardens. So here we go. Everyone's hitting on a 2. Whites are the executioners. Blacks are the champion. For 6 and 2. Champion doesn't have any AP, so 4. Still fail 1. And then with Head Taker, everyone else is like AP 5. I still passed 2, so it will be a total of 5 lost. So I got 2 Wardens fighting back, hitting on a 4. Pretty good. Saving on a 4 because of the AP 1. So they lose 3. The Wardens still lost combat. Morale test. They're going to fail, but Fearless, they're still going to fail. So 1, 2, well, I'll take this guy. 1, 2, 3. Back up an inch. 4, 5, and stunned. Next activation, this Drake over here is going to paka into that squad there. First thing, we got a breath attack. And it's going to fail. 3 at AP 3, 1 at AP 1. Or no, 1 at rending. So 2 hits. Saving on a 6. It only kills 1. Oh, that was anticlimactic. 9 attacks back. They got 5 hits. Saving on a 3. It fails 2. The Drake does not have fear, so it needs to take a morale test, which it fails. Good job. But it passes the Fearless. So the Drake that was pathetic backs up an inch and goes down to, oh wait, 4, because it took 2. Ta-da. So now that shooter squad that was just attacked are going to fire into this Drake over here. 18 shots hitting on a 4 with rending. So 11 hits, 2 of those are rending. The 2 rending on a 6, failed them both. And then the rest on a 3. There goes 3 more. Uh-oh. So the dice tells me that was just enough. Boom! This squad of shooters, they're kind of scared of that Hydra. They're going to shoot at it. Got 8 shots looking for 4. Really? We got 1. It seems I have pissed off the dice gods. And it saves. That squad of shooters up on the hill, they're going to move forward to put themselves just in range to tickle these girls with bows. 10 shots on a 4 with rending. 4 hits. Saving on a 4. They lose 3. Morale test. They're going to pass. So we're just going to go boop, bip, bip. Next activation, this unit here is going to recover. So Mr. Hydra is going to charge into that squad there. Hydra's attacks, he is fatigued, so look for a 6. He's got 3 6s. Saving on a 5. They take 1. Fighting back on a 6. Nothing. Morale test for the Wardens. They are going to fail. And fail again, meaning that they are going to go right back to stunned. So they go down 1 more and still boop. Over here on the far flank, this unit of hawks/owls, they are going to move into the difficult terrain, into the woods right there. So over here on this flank, that unit of shooters that is falling out of formation is going to fire at that squad of Wardens. Hitting on 4s with rending. Oh, there's more 6s that time. So we got 10 hits, 5 of them are rending. Rending hits. They're going to lose 4 there. And then the regular hits, they're going to lose another 3 for a total of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the squad. So that's activation for the Wardens. This unit of flat-faced hawks, they are just going to hold. That brick of warriors over there, they're going to charge into the Drake. Sorry about the picture. All of our fingers are frozen. They kept poking us. So 10 attacks hitting on a 4. They got 6 hits. Saving on a 3. It's going to take 2. So it's got 3 attacks back. 3 at AP 3. 1 with rending. 1 hit. And it saves. Oh, Lord. Morale test for the dragon. It passes. That means it is down to a 2. This unit of warriors back there, they are going to hold. That unit of warriors who's poking the crap out of us, it's going to move up behind the Hydra. And that's going to be the end of turn number 2. So turn number 2 is complete, and I am rapidly running out of Eternal Wardens on the board. Hopefully, with the 1 squad of ambushers I have coming on that I held back to this turn, things are going to change, but we will see. So ambushers come in. We got the squad of paladins with their knight commander right there. And then first activation is going to be for the Wardens. They are going to charge into the Hydra. So we got the 6 Praetorians with 3 attacks apiece with reliable and rending. And then we have the Knight with 4 attacks at AP 3. Knight's hitting on a 4, Praetorians hitting on a 3. Well, on a 2 because it's reliable. Everything hits. 2 rending hits. So the 2 rending hits, that's going to be 2 right there. The rest of these whites are on a 3. The blacks are on a 6. There's our passes and fails. There are 10 of them right there. So that's going to be the end of that Hydra. Splat. And it didn't get regeneration because all the attacks were rending. Oh, wait. Hold on. So 8 of the failed saves were rending. There were 4 that he can possibly regenerate, so he needs to pass 3 of these. Go ahead. But she doesn't pass 1. So, yep, Hydra's gone. So over there, the Dark Elf activation is the Warriors are going to try to finish off that Drake. 10 attacks on a 4. 4 hits. Numbers. Numbers.
Killing you.
Jesus Christ. My brain is freezing. My frontal cortex is an ice cube.
You have mental frostbite.
That's right. So, 3 up save. D's good. Fighting back. On the 3. So we got 2 of the AP3s and the 1 rending hit, but no rending. Black's on a 6, white on a 5. They lose 2. Morale test. They're going to pass. So this Drake is going to tick off. Go foo 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 foo. Right there. Breath attack is going to hit. So 3 at AP1, so 3 on a 6. We got the train coming back. So 3 there. Whites are AP3. Everything fails. So their attack's back. 6 attacks. Oh, he's just laying on it now. He's like, I know Fitch is recording.
Suck it, war boss.
On a 4. Oh, that's a lot of hits. Uh-oh. I may have misjudged. Saving on a 3. Yeah, I screwed that up. Hear that train? That train's laughing at me. It's like, you should have known better.
It's just the minute you hit record.
Oh, I swear that train conductor knows me. Next activation is Hydra will just continue eating these Wardens. Okay, 10 attacks on a 3 with Furious. Right? You got Furious?
Yes, I have Furious.
Yes, I've been forgetting Furious this whole game.
No, you haven't.
Whatever. Throw the dice. It's cold. My brain don't work. So we got 5 hits, 3 of them are 6s, turning that into 8 hits. AP1, saving on a 5. So they lose 4, which that's going to be enough. So, beep, 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 dead. Oh no. So this guy, all on his lonesome, he is just going to move back to here and stand on the objective and say, I am here. This is mine. Rawr. So first activation on this side over here. That squad of shooters on the hill are going to fire at that squad of shooters on the objective. God, it is so cold out here. My frontal cortex is ice cube. Oh, I can't feel my fingies. 10 shots on a 4. 7 hits. 7 on a 4. 1, 2, 3. There goes 4 more. Uh-oh. Morale test. Pass. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the eternal shooters over here, they are going to fire at that squad of shooters over there. 4 shots on a 4. 2 hits. 7 on a 5. 2 fail. Morale test. Pass. So now those shooters are shooting into the Praetorians as every dice hits the ground. So 8 shots on a 4 with rending. So we got a couple of rendings in here. And I hope you all at home realize, well, I mean, you can't realize this, but it's like, what is that outside? Like negative something? It's negative something degrees outside. And I don't have a heater in the garage because anytime I hook up a heater, it pops breakers in the house because this place was wired a long time ago. Rending, saves 1. And kerosene heaters, save the other 2. So kerosene heaters, working on that. It's just not here yet. So 1 guy down to 2. That unit of Hawks there are just going to hold there. And then because they are in the difficult terrain, they can see into it, they are going to fire into those Hawks. That squad of shooters there. 20 shots hitting on a 4 with rending. So we got 4 rending, 6 not rending. And because of the cover in the way, just because we're in the woods, they're going to get +1 to their armor save, which pushes it to a 4. But rending doesn't matter. We're going to lose 4 there. Everything else on a 4. There's another 4 for 8. Oh no. The morale test, they're gonna fail. So while I'm pulling off the dead, the plan was that even though he has taken pretty much his side of the board, this turn or next turn, as soon as he moves off, or if he does the activations like on turn 4, this guy was going to go ha and contest it. But now he's just going to huddle in a bush and I don't know, crap his pants. So then this unit of Hawks over here, they're going to hold. So I might be trying to do the same thing with them. But here I have 2 objectives to come up with something. So over here, these warriors are going to push into those Praetorians because they are fatigued. 10 attacks on a 4. 6 hits. Saving on a 3. They're going to take 2. That takes out the 1 wounded Praetorian. So all their attacks back on a 6. 4 hits. And they're ending, so saving on a 6. They take 3. So morale test for the warriors. They're going to pass. So they already took their 3. Then this guy goes blip. And then these back up an inch. Like that. Executioners are going to go,
Execute?
yeah. Walk over to that guy, say what's up. So here we go. Executioners are white, champions are black. Everybody hits on a 2. What kind of a cock dice? There we go. For that, Manny. So these are AP 5. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's trying to be a hero. And those warriors back there on that objective, they're gonna hold because there's no sense going anywhere else. So turn number 3 is in the books. The Wardens are down to 12 total models on the board. Let's see if they can pull something out to try to tie, maybe win. Who knows? This is OPR. The dice can do weird stuff. So first activation, the squad of Praetorians is going to right there. So lots of Praetorian attacks, reliable and all that jazz. For that many hits, saving on the 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Yeah, there they go. Mulched. This unit of shooters is going to into that unit of shooters. Oh, I can't tell if our brains are melting or solidifying. Was it 12 shots on a 4?
10 shots.
10 shots on a 4, yeah. Brain will work.
Oh.
We got 1 hit, 1 rending. So the 1 hit, pass, rending, fail. Morale test, fail, fearless, right? Yeah, fearless, fail. So splat and crap her pants. So next activation, we're just going to recover her, and that's it. The unit of shooters has moved forward to contest. This hawk is going to recover. The Hydra is going to charge over there. 10 attacks, Furious AP1, hitting all 3. So 1 miss, but it goes right back in because of that 1-6. Saving on a 6. Nothing. Oh man, come on, man. So yeah, that's all 3, and with that we can call it right there. Oh crap. So at the end of the game, we have contested Dark Elves and Dark Elves. Just none of my little tricks were able to pull off a tie or anything there. Yeah, so win for the Dark Elves. Final thoughts on the Dark Elf army. This is a versatile, like what you would think a military in a fantasy game would be. They've got their shooters, they've got their spearmen, they've got an array of monsters you could take. Even though we didn't really see the Hydra heads come out and make that much of a difference with the Hydra today, because the Hydras just either killed what they were pointed at or were hit with anti-Hydra weaponry. Overall, I think the Dark Elf are a pretty straightforward, strong army for Age of Fantasy, with lots of cool monsters you can add on to give your own flavor. So that's going to do it for us out here in the garage. I hope you guys are having fun playing OPR wherever you are, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.